so much for taking the time to do this. It's an absolute pleasure.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
No worries. Well, we'll start off really, really simple. How are you doing at the moment?
I'm doing great. Busy of customer release and everything related, and also prepping for the show. So it's been quite busy months and weeks lately. But it's
Good,
good.
Good, busy. No, not too stressful.
No, it's a good busy. Yeah.
Good, because congratulations on reaching this point. We're a little over a week from the release of the self-titled debut album. Has that sunk in yet that you are now this close?
I don't know. I haven't really thought about it too much because I've been just focusing doing all the work that is related to that release. So haven't really. Probably it will sink afterwards, I think.
A positive though, right? Because you're being kept so busy, there's no time to kind of dwell on the long build up that comes with releasing an album. Do you enjoy this process? The fact that for when you get your masters back and when it's ready to go, that you have to wait so long and drip feed content to listeners and so
on? Yes and no. A part of me would like to, put the album out right away, but I know that's not really really wise to do so because that needs to be promoted well, and of course it's part of the game, and yeah, it's all, but yeah, I think it's way less stressful than actually when you're in the final stages of making that album, to promote that album. So in a way it's a good fun, but a lot of work still.
Yeah. It is that, isn't it? You got to try and make it as fun as possible because, as you said, it's all about promotion, and there has been a super positive reaction to the singles released so far. Seeing that reaction and hearing people getting very excited about the album, does that help ease your mind in regards to how you think the full thing will be received?
Well, I'm definitely, positively surprised and grateful that people had take those songs so well. And there seems to be a lot of interest towards Crownshift, which, we're pretty humble about that. And obviously, it's a good thing that they are excited about the material because the reaction would be opposite. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah,
but,
you want to... Cool.
Nevertheless, I try not to think about, that too much either, what other people thinks, but of course feels great that they like it.
Of course, ultimately the goal first is for you to like it and enjoy what you're doing, and of course, particularly considering the past few years it's taken you to get here. So going kind of back to the early days of Crownshift, specifically your vision, did you have a clear vision of what you wanted Crownshift to be?
Yes and no. It's like it's not really, somebody just asked me that did you guys have a talk that what kind of music did you have a vision what kind of music you should do? And I said that we never had that conversation. And it's just what came from us organically, and that sense, no, there wasn't vision, but I always kind of knew what kind of music we would do, and so would the other guys too, because we know each other's history, and it's pretty much there, and we weren't about to start a hip hop band either, so yeah, but we always wanted that Crownshift would be like a full-time band, and we had a vision how we should push the bands forward, and what do we want to accomplish and stuff like that. But music wise, it was always pretty clear, even without the conversation.
Yeah, individually, of course, there's a certain style within your DNA, so it's gonna be quite natural.
Exactly, and yeah, we want to keep it.
Well, talk to me about your personal excitement you felt in those early days. What made the work you were doing so fresh and exciting for you?
Um, I don't know. Ultimately the songs were just. It started that I started to have these songs a lot in my hard drive, and I was just writing songs that I like. And then we had these chats back and forth during the years with the guys, because you know we already, when we were me, Heikki, and Jukka, we were playing in a band called Northward back in the days. We already then talked about that we should do something together.
Mm.
So we had these chats back and forth, and they were like, Daniel, do you have any songs that we could do this project that we always talked about? And I was like, not really, not that much at this point, but let's see again later. And then we all got caught in another band, and it never seemed to be like a right moment until now. So yeah, I'm really excited that we finally got this out, because it's been a long coming.
Yes, absolutely. And of course, talking about creating something and actually creating it is two different things. So it is such a monumental task that you managed to achieve here, but obviously one with lots of challenges along the way. Do you remember what some of the major challenges were in the early days of Crownshift?
I think it was mainly related to the recording process, because I wanted to do it myself. So that was probably the biggest problem or challenge, because sometimes I got a little bit too deep into that rabbit hole of producing, and we didn't have any deadline, so it took like forever. But in the end, we got it done, and we're really happy for the results, which is the most important thing. It's not how much you spend time; it's that you get the results you want. And yeah.
Indeed. Do you feel like you work better with a deadline? You say you had no deadline, and that obviously means you
I,
probably fiddle too much.
Absolutely. I think anybody would work more efficiently with deadlines, because, well, you probably know what happens if you don't have those.
At what stage did you see and realize, okay, we have the shell, the workings of a full album coming together?
Um, I think that was like we actually had even more material than these 8, and that was a positive problem, because we just had to draw the line somewhere. And I think these 8 were just, it's people say that, oh, why there's only 8 songs, but there's a lot of action in those songs. So I think it's enough for that material, and it's the right amount for this album. And yeah, I don't remember exactly the exact date when this was like happening, but yeah, it's a while ago already.
Of course, of course. Do you remember, was it quite an easy process to decide what tracks actually went in the album? You say lots of stuff obviously was left off and you decided these were the 8 best for the debut. Was it quite simple to just decide what went on and what went off?
Pretty much. Well, I mean, yeah, it is and it's not. It's always tricky, but I think these 8 songs, they work really well together and as a whole album, which was important. And those songs that were left out, they weren't like bad songs. They were actually pretty great songs, but they were just too much for this album. That, yeah, there was already like similar songs, and I don't want to have too many similar songs on the same album. That's one of the thing I try to keep.
Makes complete sense to me. Did you set yourself any creative rules in regards to what you wanted the album to sort of sound like overall? Or was it quite a free and open experience for you?
Yeah, pretty free and open. And no, we didn't have any like initially any certain guideline or anything, just what came out. And yeah, well, after a while, when we had like whole album and even more, then we started a little bit thinking that maybe this track is too much, or this doesn't quite fit. But otherwise, it's pretty much a playground.
Which is what you want it to be ultimately, because that's the fun, the chance to experiment. Talking of which, then, what were some of your favorite memories? What are some of your favorite memories from the entire recording process?
Oh boy, it's hard to pinpoint one. I think it's actually my favorite memories is probably in the mixing process, if you will, because then you're always like a recording starting. There's a mountain to climb, and it's a lot of work. But when you're at the final stages of mixing, then it starts to sing that you finally have the album pretty much ready, and then probably is the time to enjoy that for me the most. So I'd say mixing is my favorite process, especially the final couple of days when we're doing the tweaking the details.
Yeah, you basically done, say, 95% of it, and now it's just that last 5% to get over the line.
Exactly, and that's pretty exciting. And I want to be always like attend to mixing sessions myself, and I know some people don't like that, and probably they don't have any input for that, but I do a lot, and yeah, that's very important to be there.
But why? Why do you feel like you have to, or is it just that you're really interested in the process?
Well, because what I learned during the years, that if I try to like email some, what are those called? Like, damn it, I lost it. Excuse me for a second.
No, no worries. By all means.
Yeah, if I try to email some instructions to the mixing engineer, it takes like forever, writing those, and still if he will do the version and it's not right, and we will go back and forth, and it's just too much bullshit, doing these kind of emails, and things are just going forward much faster if I go on site. So you can be there and instantly, oh, it doesn't work, let's try another one, without this email this and that. And it also saves the time for the mixing engineer as well. So,
because if you're getting frustrated, no doubt they're getting frustrated as well, back and forth emails.
yeah, and it just never worked really. I mean, you can do some very, very simple things by email, like turn this louder, 2 dB or something like that. But if you're doing like, special effects or stuff like that, which is also a lot of trying, because you don't necessarily know what you want, because you have to try a couple different ones, and that doing by emails, it's a nightmare.
It makes complete sense to me. From your individual perspective, you're a guitarist who has been a major part of some of the finest metal releases over the years. Were there any aspects to the creation of this album that tested your abilities?
It tested my nerves a lot, and my engineering abilities, which weren't that great, but so I have to learn a lot of things during the process. But yeah, it was ultimately, I think this was probably once in a lifetime.
I was just about to ask you, would you do it again this way? But I guess not.
Yeah, I guess not. I really needed to, at some point, I really need to decide what I want to be. Do I want to be engineer, producer, or musician? So, and I choose the latter one.
Fair enough.
I could do it again, but it's just too much work, too much time. I want to spend that time doing music.
Say no more. I completely understand. What overall then, considering all that stress, the end result is here and out in just over a week. So what does it mean to you to just see all your hard work come together like this?
I mean, it means the world to me, and despite what I just said, I think I needed to do that everything myself in this album. But in hindsight, I think now that I got it out of my system, I'm, happy to work with somebody, some engineer outside, And
Sometimes, as you say, you just need to do it. Try it.
yeah, exactly. And yeah, it really means the world to get it finally out. We put a lot of hours and weeks and months and years even to this album. So I'm pretty excited to actually hear what people say and how they're going to
Well, on
react.
that, well, on that then, is there a specific track of the album that's not been released yet that you're quite interested to see the reaction to? Like for me, I'm quite interested to see what the majority of people think of To the Other Side. The album is epic, if you don't mind me calling it that.
Yeah, well, that's actually one of the tracks I'm interested to hear about too, because that's people haven't really seen that side of the band yet. These single songs, despite their being quite different of each other, they're not so like super proggy. They're pretty accessible songs, I'd say.
Mm.
And To the Other Side, that's like the other end of our spectrum, basically. And also Stellar Halo, that's quite a tricky one, or technical one as well. So those two maybe are mine.
My two favorite tracks, there they are. Stellar Halo as well. It is simply phenomenal on a phenomenal album overall. So congratulations on achieving what you've done. Talk to me about May 15th, your first live show taking place in Helsinki. I have to ask, does this show feel as important, if not more, than the album release?
Yes and no. It's gonna be an emotional day for sure. It was actually my last time when I played live was Tavastia with Bodom After Midnight with Alexei Laiho, who passed away. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to return the stage, and it's gonna be an important show for sure. But mostly I'm excited just to kick the engine on and get back on the saddle again.
It's a kickstart really for the year, isn't it? Because of course, summer festivals are booked, plans in the work, no doubt, for many things later into year into 2025. You mentioned early on in this interview about not wanting to show Crownshift isn't just a side project, and obviously with your plans in place, that's clearly not the case. Why is it so important for you to show that Crownshift isn't a side project?
Well, it's not really important to show, but people have been asking that a lot. So I just wanted to make that clear. And we're not really a side project guys, any of us. And yeah, just setting the record straight.
There it is, absolutely. And finally, when you reflect on the album creation process, from the very first riff being played to the first lyric being penned, to getting the masters back and seeing the artwork, what will be your overriding memory of the entire experience?
Oh boy, there's a lot of memories. I mean, I'm just so relieved. I'm excited, and yeah, it was quite of a ride. Took longer than I expected, and I'm just happy to see it all coming together. We can finally put this record out and hopefully keep continuing doing this as long as we want to.
As long as you want to. I think speaking to you, you give me the sense of satisfaction as well. You've haven't completed this. It is out, of course, next Friday as of the time of recording. Self-titled debut album, and it is a phenomenal record. Daniel, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, my pleasure.
Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like to see more content like this, please consider hitting the subscribe button. It is gratefully appreciated. You can find us over at gbhbl.com, our full website, where reviews, news, and so much more goes up daily. We're also on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, at GBHBL. Just search for GBHBL and you will find us out there. We also have merchandise on sale. You can access the shop via the website.